There are probably a dozen home health care agencies registered here. We can see Ladna Home Health Care down there. That's a $2 million home health care agency. You can see it's located right next to two money wiring services. Dahab Shield. The Dahab Shield is the official money wiring service of the Central Bank of Somalia.
Well, it ticks me off if they're screwing the state of Maine, and because that's my tax money, you know.
So I need you guys to imagine this for a second. You are a building owner in Portland, Maine. You rent office spaces to businesses. Normal stuff, right? Except one day you look around and realize that half of your building, like 10 to 13 businesses, are all home healthcare agencies. Then you start to notice things. These companies aren't really there. The offices are empty. And then a state audit drops and says that your tenants overbilled Medicaid by $400,000. The owner just ghosts you. 6 months, no calls, texts, nothing. Just vanishes. Then you're sitting there thinking, what the hell is going on in my building? What do you do? Well, obviously, you go to a reporter and admit on camera that you highly question half of these businesses. You take down their signs. You're trying to run a legit operation, but you accidentally become the landlord for what might be a massive Medicaid fraud scheme. This is not hypothetical at all. This is real. This is going on in Portland, Maine, and there's a building that he owns. It has 22 different home and community-based healthcare companies registered to it. 22. Now we're here talking about Maine. We already talked about that Gateway Community Service situation in Maine that's pulling in about $30 million from Maine Care while allegedly billing for services that they never provided.
Made a connection from Gateway to the Minnesota people by, them telling me about their family they had in Minnesota. The executives of Gateway, the Somalian executives, had family that they used to visit in Minnesota.
How long do you think this has been going on, this fraud?
I was there from 2018 to recently 2025. I didn't see any of the staffs in person, none of that stuff. I just saw the massive amount of turnover, new people coming in, a lot of migrant community getting jobs, a lot of new migrant clients, stuff like that. And a lot of the stuff I just couldn't verify. There was no way for me to verify that what I was billing out was real, accurate at all.
But this NewsNation investigation shows way bigger than just Gateway. This is an entire ecosystem of fraud. So we're gonna watch this video and react to it. It's the same playbook we're seeing that's happening all over the damn country. And obviously it's happening in Maine. Let's get into it.
We're here in Portland, Maine. We found of the businesses that are registered in here, of the 20-something businesses, 10 of them are home healthcare businesses. As you can see, Prestige Home Care, Bright Star Home Care, Atlantic Community Support, 5 Stars Home Health Care, Prime Home Care, LLC.
So many home health care. In this area, the home health care industry is locked up in this one building.
The trend we saw in Minnesota, one that the Minnesota House Oversight Committee on Fraud tells NewsNation is a giant red flag. Large clusters of healthcare providers in one location. This building right behind me has 22 different home and community-based healthcare companies registered in the building. Inside this Portland office building, owner Ron Nevins agreed to speak with us.
I think I got 10 healthcare companies, which is probably about half, maybe a little less than half of this building.
Healthcare, home healthcare. I didn't even know what home healthcare was. Do you think these businesses are actually legit businesses?
Some, yes, but some I highly question. Nobody's ever here, and if it was 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but when there's 10, I've had as many as 12 or 13.
So let's slow down to understand this correctly. The building owner by the name of Ron Nevins just admitted on camera that he has 10 healthcare companies in his building, maybe 12 or 13 at one point. He straight up just said, some I highly question. Now this man's a landlord. Props to even talking about this publicly. He's collecting rent from these companies, and even he thinks something is fishy is going on. That tells you everything you need to know. This is a problem. This is not a normal business. That's a red flag the size of a billboard. We saw this in Minnesota. Home care businesses packed with daycare centers and autism therapy providers, all billing Medicaid, all in the same building. And now we're seeing it in Maine with the home health care agencies.
5 Star, I took the sign off the door because I'm trying to rent the office.
A state audit found that 5 Star Home Healthcare overbilled Maine's Medicaid by nearly $400,000, according to documents obtained by the Maine Wire. They failed to provide documentation to substantiate hundreds of thousands of dollars in Medicaid benefits paid out for home-based health care, and then the owner just abandoned the office.
I can't even reach him. 6 months. No return calls, no return texts, nothing.
Because he's committing fraud. The 5 Star Home Health Care. What is that? I don't even know. A state audit found that 5-star overbilled Maine's Medicaid by nearly $400,000. They failed to provide any documentation to substantiate hundreds of thousands of dollars in benefits, and the owner just vanished. 6 months of no calls, no texts, nothing. That man is gone. We all know where he probably flew to, but it's crazy. This is just outrageous. What the hell is going on? The fraud is so obvious now. It seems like these people don't have any shame. They do whatever it takes to make some money. And what's happening here?
Consequences, no investigation, no resolution to what happened with 5 Stars Home Health Care. And that, I think, is something, that's a story that we see play out time and time again.
You've been reporting on this for quite a long time here in Maine. How widespread do you think this issue is here?
Hundreds of millions of dollars, easily. It's, you look at just where we're standing right now, there are probably a dozen home health care agencies registered
right
here. We can see Ladna Home Health Care down there. That's a $2 million home health care agency. You can see it's located right next to 2 money wiring services. Right next to it, you have Dahab Shield. Dahab Shield is the official money wiring service of the Central Bank of Somalia.
You don't know what's going on behind the scenes,
Does it
Hold on. This is so obvious, and you can tell these people do not care. They don't care. And you see where they're standing and talking about the businesses that's on the street, a $2 million home health care agency, and then next to it, it's an official money wiring service to the Central Bank of Somalia. And you know exactly why that matters, because we've seen the same setup in Minnesota. And if you saw my very last video, we talked about a Somali American that was actually bringing up some of this fraud. He said that people in Somalia can send up to $1,000 a day to Somalia. Then they ask for your driver's license and your social security number once, and that's it. But nobody knows who's collecting the money in Somalia because they have no proper documentation system down there. So now you have these home health care agencies funded by the American taxpayers through Medicaid next to the money transfer services that sends the cash to Somalia. You don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to see the potential for the pipeline here. Overbill Medicaid, collect fraudulent payments, and wire the money overseas. I'm not saying that every home care agency is dirty, even though I don't know what home health care agencies do. I'm not saying that every money transfer to Somalia is illegal. What I'm saying is when you have the exact same pattern happening in Minnesota, in Maine, and then in Washington and in Ohio, that means that there is some situation going on and it deserves a thorough investigation. As the reporter said, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Exactly, we don't know, and that's the problem. There is no oversight. There's no transparency. There's no accountability.
bother you?
Well, it ticks me off if they're screwing the state of Maine, and because that's my tax money, You add up what's going on all over the state of Maine, it's probably millions and millions of dollars of fraud and abuse.
Absolutely. I mean, he's 100% right. I mean, this is a problem. This is all of our tax money. Minnesota, Maine, Ohio, Washington, and everywhere else this is happening. Now, we already talked about the Gateway Community Services from Maine Care. A whistleblower had to expose all of the fake billing. The state had to shut off funding, but no charge has been filed in that situation. Now you have an office building with 22 home healthcare companies with the landlord openly admitting he questions half of them. The reporter from the Maine Wire estimates there's hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud across Maine. This is crazy. They need to do more to fix the situation. So on this channel, we've been covering fraud across multiple states over the last couple of weeks, but this Maine situation is up there with Minnesota with the clearest examples of systematic failure. The fraud is happening, but everyone knows it's happening and no one is actually doing anything about it. The building owner knows, the reporters know, the state auditors know. They literally document this fraud, and yet 5 Stars owner is ghost. Gateway is still operating, and dozens of questionable agencies are still billing Medicaid right now. Ron, the building owner, said something obvious that everyone should feel. If they're screwing over the state of Maine, that's my tax money. And he's right. This isn't just Maine or Minnesota. This is about American tax dollars being stolen through fraudulent Medicaid billing and potentially being wired overseas with no accountability. We need a solid state and federal investigations. We need audit of every state's home health care Medicaid billing. We need to protect whistleblowers like Christopher instead of pushing them out. We need to stop treating this like a political issue and start treating this like a massive fraud scheme that it is. We'll continue to cover this, and shout out to NewsNation for actually doing real investigating journalism. But let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.